We extend to you an invitation to join Master Eric and Omkar for the weekly program Between God and Us every Sunday evening from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. exclusively on Sankhya Television. Between God and Us. Knowledge to free your soul.
Good evening and welcome to the program Between God and Us, a weekly program on Sankhya TV where we discuss everything about life. And once again, joining us, we have our special guest, Pandit Parashuram Maharaj, a senior Pandit in Trinidad and Tobago, well respected, very knowledgeable. And this week we are doing part 2 of the last rites. And Panditji, once again, thank you very much for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you
Master
for the
Eric.
privilege to be here with you all and to share in the experiences that we have, because this is actually to help us to be more aware of what we should be doing and to understand the part that we are to play in life.
Correct. And first of all, I want to say everybody, Sitaram, Assalamu Alaikum, Sairam, and good evening, everyone. Pandit, I also want to thank you for being here tonight. I know you've got a lot of things you're doing, but you've made time to actually be here with us, and we really appreciate that. Last week, we covered a lot of ground with lots of rites, but there's so much more to talk about. And I think the questions that we're going to be asking you, and you may be asking us some questions too this round, is what the people themselves may have. Now, when somebody dies, I want to go over that here in a little bit. If you're able, as soon as the person dies, and let's say they died at home, and if you have the knowledge or the steps, there are things you could do right then to immediately start to prepare the body, correct?
Yes.
So let's touch on that just for a little bit. So we're looking at the time of death. So when we did some research and we were looking way in the past, today people don't do it because it depends on where the death happened.
Yes.
If it was an accidental death, or it's at the hospital, or certain things, this may not be possible within the situation you're in.
Yes.
But after the body is confirmed deceased by the coroner or whatever, then you would, as we discussed, you would lapie the ground, the floor, put some kush grass, have a cloth, and move the body on the floor.
Yes.
With the head facing north,
And the
feet facing south.
Yes.
Right? Then in the olden days, Omkar, they would take turmeric and put a boundary around the body so negative energy could not come in towards the body. Then they would take red string and tie the toes of the individual. Okay? So it would have the soul go further on, even up to heaven. Right? But Pandit, is this something you may have known about in the past?
We heard of some of the things in the past.
Maybe not the thread, because that was kind of new to me too when I researched
some of the things. The thread is one of the things that is also, I heard of it.
It's called a mali.
But I didn't know the color was red.
No, it's red.
So
not black.
That is actually new to me. And
So now,
in the modern time, everybody may not want to put gobar on the floor. So you take Ganga water and purify the ground. And you rest a piece of cloth, kush grass, and the body on it. So the kush grass represents Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So on resting the body, it is like the body is placed in the arms of Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So that's the reason for putting the kusha grass. And you put tulsi in the mouth, or tulsi water. Actually, if it is possible to do that before the person quits the body, or before you even hear that the person quits the body, from the time you know the signs, and one of the signs that is told in Garud Puran, if the person has all the mental faculties functioning right, when you close the lid in the ears here, you will not hear the sound of the atmosphere that you hear.
because it fades off.
Yes. So that is one of the signs that you have limited amount of time, that you will expire anytime soon.
You know, I went to a person because I knew this person for a long time here in Trinidad. And the person was 91 years old, Muslim. And I was there right before she died.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Will you prepare?" And I went and got the tulsi and everything
Yes.
before she actually took her last breath.
Yes.
So, what I'm saying, have you noticed some of the things we talked about last week and this week? There are people from other faiths
Yes.
that respect other faiths,
Yes.
and they want a compounded solution for the end so they can satisfy themselves. I am ready.
Yes.
Like the man that wanted the Catholic, that wanted the Hindu prayers.
Yes.
That was satisfying him,
Yes.
that he's ready to depart. So I want people to understand that this is why the last rites and doing the proper things before or when you go is critical. It's critical, Omkar, to your journey. Or there may not be a journey. This is what people are looking at, okay? Even in the Mayans, they have similar rituals, okay? Just they add, and the Egyptians, they add the gold on the eyes or in the mouth. But some of the old Hindu traditions put a little piece of gold in the mouth. Not before they died. It was, when they died.
But actually they wash the gold together with the shadagram water, and they give them to drink. And
Before.
before they quit the body.
Yeah.
Also, the next thing is there are certain things that they try to do for those who are aware. If you quit in the shade of a tulsi plant, or next to a peepal tree, or any of the holy trees, you quit near those places, you are helping yourself to gain liberation very fast. So those are some of the things. So
it helps the process.
It helps the process. So the easiest thing to do is to find a tulsi plant near to the where the person might be quitting the body, and you have it there.
Sitting there.
Yes. So, tulsi water is given, Ganga water is given for whatever is available. And if nothing is available, at least you can chant the name of God.
Of God.
Or chant a hymn of God, or chant a bhajan of God, or praises to God. And it helps. What it does, even the yogis are aware that leaving meditation and just listening to the songs that are being sung about the Lord, that helps them to bring themselves to meditation very fast, because when you hear of Lord Krishna playing the bansuri or the flute, it immediately brings you the picture of somebody holding the flute, and you might even be able to hear the sound of the flute if your imagination is so strong enough
Helps you focus.
to focus better. So this is why it is very special, the music, the song, the devotion, and in this way when you do it, you help the person to bring themselves closer to God. Instead of going before them, some people go and start to cry and they grieve and they send off grieving thoughts. It doesn't help the individual to move up. It actually
Keeps them here.
keeps them back from getting freedom or liberation. So these are things that are very important. The tulsi, putting the tulsi in the mouth or the Ganga, or if the person cannot remember anything, just remember the word Ganga. That in itself is very special because you have in the Bhagavad Gita, Ganga, Gita, Chagayatri, Sita, Satya, Saraswati, the 80 names of the Gita, like that. If even one a person could chant, or chant the mantra, Om Vishnave Namah, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayana, any of the mantras, whichever it be, and whichever faith you are, you take the name accordingly, and it will help the person to focus better and get freedom faster.
Remember, Omkar, when we did the past program, What is Death?
Yeah.
And I gave my dad's experience when he died.
Yeah.
And he asked me, what is it like? So I told him. But I said, Dad, remember, you're going to know when that time is coming. Chant God's name. It's so important to chant, and he's correct. So my dad's saying how great there are, an amazing grace, but he couldn't sing because he's so weak. But you could hear he's trying. And then he was saying God's name and he just passed off. So it's very important to always remember, like the pundit said, don't sit there and cry over the body before he dies, or even when he dies, because you can ground the soul.
I was wondering what provisions or what guidance is there for people who die far away from the family. So like say people who live in a foreign country, they might be living by themselves, far away from their relatives, or somebody who was on a trip and they died in a plane crash, some extreme circumstance, right? Where you don't have access to the body for even the last rites. What is in place for that?
Well, actually, when the pain of death will come to the individual, they will feel as though something is happening which is beyond normal. And the first thing to do whenever such things take place is to prepare yourself. Okay, if I am to go, I am coming to you, God, and my thoughts are focused on you. And when the tune of the mind is, God, I want thee and only thee, you're going to go no other place but to him. That's number one. The next thing is, when you go to sleep, if you go to sleep chanting a mantra or praying, you get up back praying. Because the thoughts, your consciousness inside is awakened and is aware of that, and you get up with the thought of prayer when you go to sleep with the thought of prayer.
Okay.
So that if you happen to pass away in your sleep, you have already done
You're
it.
there.
And if you are fasting for prayers, and you didn't get to finish do the prayers, and you happen to pass away before the date of that prayers, you already acquire the benefits of that because you are in the course of preparation, and it will lead you to the beatitude or the success of that prayer.
Okay.
Right? Because chanting God's name, fasting, doing his prayers, if while the process of doing the prayers you quit the body too, that in itself is a gateway open for liberation. And as I said, there in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verses 24 to 28, it tells you there's a bright half of life, the bright half of the year, and the bright half of the month. And if you are in the bright half of life, you are positive that the way is open for you. If you happen to quit in the bright half of the year, that is an opportunity to gain liberation. In the bright half of the month is also an opportunity for liberation, but the bright half of life, you're definitely going to gain liberation, because the tune of the mind is that I have no connection anymore to this world. God, I'm coming to you.
Okay.
So, like when I was in the military and we were in the war, we're far away from home. And when the soldiers would get killed, Catholic, Muslim, Hindu, we always had a religious leader with the company. And they would do what they call an immediate ritual, prayers. Then the body is shipped back to the family. And then they would have the official for the family to do. But, you know, there's ways, no matter where you are, that you can get this done. But Pundit, this question came to me, and this was about season 1, when we were talking about certain things. And is there extra steps in the last rites? Or is there something else that needs to be done if a person commits suicide?
If a person commits suicide, there are extra steps that's supposed to be taken, even if, regardless it's poison, even accidental death, or serpent bite, or even getting by the accident of a bull, or any accidental case for that matter. There are extra additional rites that are supposed to be done to help the person. One of the things is the chanting of the verses of the Bhagavad Mahatam. That is one of the things, because the mantras are mystical and sound create a vibration, and it helps for the liberation of the soul. That's why it has certain meters in which it is also chanted. And when it is chanted with those meters, it helps to bring a vibration to help the departed to be able to gain the freedom of liberation. So it is done within the year of the person parting from the body, and it has to be done together with the basic sort of rituals which are to be done. Those are additional things that are used.
But is this commonly done?
No, it is not commonly done. It used to be done mostly in the earlier times when it happened, but people find it is too costly, it is too expensive. But if you have to pray to God, you don't need somebody to give you a price and a charge for it. God is God, and your faith and your conduct and your devotion can help you to do it, and you don't have to do it in an elaborate way that it is difficult to do. You do it with the actual things that are required. And what is required mostly for your grains, your leaves, your flowers, your fruits, and your devotion with the person who is guiding you and helping you. And if the person is like a shop that you have to go to buy this or buy that or buy the other, and that is how the person is behaving with you, then you don't have a freedom with your priest. You have a difficulty there.
That makes perfect sense.
Yes.
You know, but my point I'm trying to get across to people, that those extra steps
are important.
It's critical.
Yes.
For that person's soul.
Yes.
And because suicide and accidental death is not a normal death.
No.
So Omkar, these extra steps need to be done. But like Pandit said, it don't have to be super fancy. But you could do a simple but effective steps to release that soul, to help the soul on its journey.
Now also, Garupuran states that quite clear, that if the rituals are not properly done, the difficulties that you face with. It comes like if the rubbish is coming in your yard, you are a clean person, you sweep the yard, so you leave it there or you clean the place. Something has, in a foul manner, has fallen into your premises. Are you going to leave it there or go to quarrel with somebody who you don't even know has placed it there? You will clean what is to be cleaned, you take a bath and clean yourself after, and you purify yourself. It's the same thing when a death of this kind happens. We have to do what is to be done. And you have to concentrate on doing what is to be done, because it's a duty. And if we fail to do what is the duty that is there for us to do, then you enjoy inheriting the foul smell of the things that come into your place. and the difficulties and the problems that they are all associated with it.
So let's go that route then. I like it because when you give an answer, you're opening a door. And I love that. So let's say the family is Hindu,
Yes.
right? But as the children grew up, some say they don't really understand it. It's not really for them. Or maybe they might not have been taught or understood really what Hindu was about. So they convert to Muslim or Christian or whatever, any belief. Now, the father dies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it still their duty as a Christian to fulfill the rights of the father? Yes or no?
Yes, it is still their rights. And when
Well, it's a duty.
when the book says, visit the sins of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation that love me and keep the commandments. How are you keeping the commandments if you cannot do the duties pertaining to what is required? That is the root that you come from. You cannot do what is to be done. And the roots are unhappy. How could you be able to blossom and flourish and go well? It becomes difficult.
Right. So you said last week that the ancestors are your roots.
Yes.
So, but the question or the comment that's been said in many families in Trinidad, I believe in Jesus.
Okay.
And it's against our belief to do this. Well, technically, Pundit, because I'm also a reverend, it is not against a religion. You have to go by the wishes of your father. It doesn't mean that you believe anymore.
In his system.
Correct. But you have to fulfill those rights as a child. So I want everybody out there that's been Hindu, and they may not be Hindu anymore, and you refuse, because sometimes maybe all the sons turn Christian.
Yes, it happens very
They've had it. And then you went down the family tree to who's going to do the last rites. Now you end up with maybe nobody in that immediate tree.
And sometimes it's their daughter.
Correct. So it is still your duty, regardless of your belief, to fulfill those last rites for your father. And there's serious consequences if you don't. Now, another thing, Pundit. A lot of people, when they get the ash from the cremation site, they put it in an urn and they keep it at home. Now, I was always taught that is definitely not advisable, or if it is, just for a short period until you dispose of the ash.
Yes.
But people like to keep the ash as remembrance to the deceased. What is your view on keeping the ash in the home?
Keeping the ash in the home means that you still have impurities in the house.
Correct.
There will be negative forces that are attracted to it, and also it doesn't give a freedom, because it means you are connected to that particular thing that is placed in that corner, and you have grief still sending out negative thoughts that we want you here, we wish you to be here, and you are not given the freedom for the person to be able to go his part. Even if they are in the heavenly world, their blessing could still be there for you. But you're not giving them the freedom even to reach there, because they cannot be able to cross the path by you having a connection so deep that you're preventing them from that freedom.
So, and I've had many families that went through this
Yes.
Omkar, and they keep wondering, the mother or the wife, in this one case, every night the bed would sink. But every night she'd be crying, saying, "Why did you leave me? I don't want you to go." And she would be holding articles of him while she slept. The soul didn't go. And what you're saying also, when the soul starts to begin the journey,
Yes.
when the ashes are still there, it's like kind of
It's a barrier.
pulling him back.
Yes.
So it's hard to do. Plus, you said impurities, but it's also negative energies.
Yes, that is
is
what
going through the
attracts
home,
people.
correct?
Yes.
So it's advisable then to go. This is why things should be talked out before someone dies. What is their wishes? What would they like? Now, when you dispose of the ashes, whether it's in the ocean or anywhere where it was specified, it's still not advisable to bury the urn in the ground.
Or even let go the urn in the water.
Correct.
Yes.
Because the ashes isn't technically going back to Mother Earth, correct?
Yes, it's supposed to go back to Mother Earth.
So I just wanted people out there to know that if you have an urn in the house, it's advisable to find a place
Yeah.
that they were very comfortable with to disperse the ashes. But Pandit, I'm going to let you know there's a lot of people that have it. They have them in their home.
Well, I don't know how they could be thinking of progressing or feeling that they have progressed if it is still there, because it attracts negativity.
Correct.
And it attracts, with negativity, it also encourages impurities. Because once there are negative things, impurities will be there for sure.
And that will cause conflicts and things within the home.
Yes, well, once the freedom is not there, remember, you have caused the departed not to get liberation because of your action. And then who will suffer the consequences? It is you who are bringing it upon yourself by not allowing yourself to give freedom and accepting freedom, because you wouldn't like to be tied somewhere and you do not have the freedom to move and to go where you have to go. And it is the same way, you should not tie down anyone in that way by putting them in something. And that is like how some people try to make a genie work.
Yeah, you uncork the bottle
Yes.
to free the genie.
Freedom should be there.
Otherwise, the genie
Yes.
can't do anything.
Yes.
That's a good analogy. I like that. You used to watch that show, huh? I Dream of Genie? I did last night. But, you know, all jokes aside, Pandit, these are questions people have. And they really don't know. But the question is, why isn't this being taught? Why isn't this information? It may not be on a TV satsang or things like that, but why doesn't the spiritual leaders have time in their temple, churches, or mosque to give this information out to people?
Sometimes it's given, but not in a large quantity, and then also the freedom for people to come and listen to. That is another thing. They have always an excuse. I can't reach so far. I can't come to listen to this. They have 101 excuse, but for other things, there are no excuses. They could reach there. You wake whole night in a fete, it's a joy. But to listen to something educational for upliftment of the self, there are few who will be interested and a lot not interested.
But my guru always taught me, and when I first started radio, do you know how many people came? Because I didn't have sponsors at the time. And I was footing the bill myself.
Yes.
And other business people said, "You crazy? Why are you paying to be on radio?" Right? But my guru laughed and said, if you can help just one person,
Yes.
whether you're in a temple, nobody listens but that one person, or on the radio, you have fulfilled what you needed to do.
Yes.
And this is why I'm thinking, I think a lot of subjects should be done within the organizations.
Yes.
At least maybe extracurricular courses or something, you know. But now, another question that came up, and that's when we did the show last year, is after you're done with the Bandara and everything, and then you have the monthly, and then you have up to the yearly
Yes.
prayers. They were asking, everyone states that it may take the soul 1 year
Yes.
to reach their final destination, correct?
Yes.
Then again, up. It could be quicker
Yes.
or take the full. Now, what they were asking is if they go up and they end up in heaven, in one of the 4 realms of heaven, or they go up and they are sent to realms 1, 2, or 3. Why should they keep giving offerings to that soul or that person if they're in heaven? If you're in heaven, you really don't need it.
Yes.
If you're in hell, what they're asking is that you're not going to receive it. So should they continue, or what is the purpose or benefit
Of the giving.
to continue giving that offering?
Now,
I know that was a long question, but I had to describe it.
whenever we do anything in life, whenever you give anything, and you give it without looking for rewards on it, it gives you a great amount of benefits which you do not even recall and do not even know about. It is like credits that come to you, and with a great amount of blessings that is so much that you cannot finish enjoy. The thing is the mood also in which it is being done. If I give something and I want to show over another person that I could give better than that person, it bubbles up good like a soda water, but it goes flat after. So in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, it tells us about the Satugun form of giving, the Rajagun form of giving, and the Tamogun form of giving. If I give something as an insult, like sometime a person might come for a little charity as a person seeking alms for themselves, I say, here, take it and go. That is like an insult. So it doesn't bring any joy from your giving, number one. You feel you have gotten rid of the person, but it didn't bring any good to the person. The elasticity of that gift that you have given always will be spent out and the person is still not satisfied. But sometimes somebody gives with a joy in their heart. Little they may give, But the elasticity is so much.
Correct.
You could go and you could get plenty and you are very satisfied and you could share with others out of it too. It's the same way when you do what you call dan or make gifts or you make any offering on behalf of your departed, whether it is you are thinking that you are giving to them or you are giving in their name, you have done it in their name. That is where you are not looking for any results from it. That I have given this in the name of my departed, or I have given this in the name of God, I have given this in the name of the church or in the temple. You have given that. For that purpose you have given. You are not looking for results from it because you have given it and that is finished according to you. But the great Lord is such that just like how mommy and daddy, Mother's Day will come or Father's Day will come and you give a gift to dad and mom, they're happy, joy, they give you a kiss and a hug. But the blessings that they give you in return are so countless.
Correct.
That you cannot measure it. It's the same way with God. In His name, whether you look at God as mother, father, or whichever way you have given in the name of God, through mother, father, or whichever way, and you have given the gifts, that magnifies the amount of blessings for you, which you will not even try to, you cannot be finished to recount the amount that you are going to get in blessings. So it should be done with a freedom, not with an expectation that I expect this in return. Anything that you expect disappointment in it.
So let's backtrack a little bit. Mm-hmm. So that's like last week we talked about rental cow. It's the same thing.
Yes.
You're giving, but you're taking it back.
You're taking it back, yes.
So the true blessing,
yes, it's the
may be flatline.
Yes.
So this is where I kind of want to head a little bit. We were talking a couple programs back that there's parts in the scriptures that will be read during the remind or whatever.
Yeah.
And it says, if you read this,
yes,
or if you sit and hear this,
yes,
all your desires will be fulfilled.
Yeah.
I'm not bashing the scripture, but in spirituality, I think the word desire is misinterpreted. We should not look for any reward materialistic.
Yes.
By listening to this or doing this. It's like the terminology wealth. In spirituality, it doesn't really mean this. Wealth is knowledge. Yeah. Wealth is the doorway, the pathway, right? So, a lot of people are under the misinterpretation that if they sit and listen to this, their inheritance, the car, the land, all their desires are going to be fulfilled. And I was trying to make it clear to people, these are not the desires that they may be talking about. Am I right or wrong?
No, it is quite true that the material desires are not what we should be really looking for.
We should stay away from it.
Yes, because remember, everything that you tie yourself to is a bond. And when you have a bond, you have to look forward to know you're feeling that you should receive also the result of the bond. But remember, nothing we do is actually for ourselves. You build a house, it's for your children, or somebody in the family, or somebody else if you have nobody else. Some kid or kin will actually end up being the owner of it later on, because nobody is there forever, and we have to think that you always do something for somebody. And when you're doing something with that I am preparing this, if you have to come back, remember, when you fix it right and leave it, you're going to come back into something better. And because you have taught also, in the process of fixing it right, you have taught also the way to keep it and to make it improve. And if we have taken it and we did not make it improve, we didn't do really anything. and we have wasted the opportunity of occupying it.
Correct.
So the freedom to do something and to make life better, that is an opportunity, because the body is known as sadhan ka dham and mokh ke dwar, the gateway to liberation and the place to do all the austerities that are important. And when we do dan or give gifts or do whatever it is, and we even make it prayer, and you make it with a desire in mind, desire may be fulfilled, but that is right here and it's finished. But when you do it without any you do not look for anything else but just to give thanks to God, that actually gives you rewards which you do not even know about. You end up enjoying it and you wonder where this grace has come from. And it is the grace of the Almighty, just like the parent. They are so happy with even the little gift that you give them, they shower countless more blessings upon you. So they start to blossom into something very fragrant and very nice for you in your life and for those who you are associated with. So they all enjoy the fragrance of it.
Do you have a question, Omkar?
In terms of the giving of the gifts and worship and stuff like that, in terms of the ancestor, I heard one of the explanations is that even if they are reborn, like how you were saying, well, if they're in heaven or if they're in hell, they wouldn't, well, in hell they wouldn't get it, in heaven they kind of don't need it. But for the people who have already reincarnated,
So
that they
reborn
get
already.
They get.
Okay, it comes like this, that at some time in life, remember, we all pray for one another and we don't know that.
Okay.
I am praying for you, you are praying for me, and we don't know that we are doing that, but actually we are doing it. And we are praying for each other. Because remember, you could come as your own great-great-grandchild and you may be offering prayer for your great-great-grandfather. You're actually doing for yourself. So you're opening the doorway for yourself to make it better and to move out obstacles which you perhaps would have had in the past time of your life, to clear the path. And if we think that today I do and I enjoy, after this I don't have to worry because I'm free. So you enjoy, but what are you putting in place to enjoy for if you are to come back into the world, or whenever you come back into the world, what are you putting in place? These are the things that you're actually putting in place to enjoy. So you're actually opening the doorway. And if you're born somewhere, sometimes you've seen problem, but because of a prayer made somewhere in the course of time by somebody in the family, it brings about a good luck to you. So you wonder where the good luck comes from. You're struggling because there's a choice that is made, according to what I have read from one of the books in What Becomes of the Soul After Death. You have a choice, and the choice is one. Do you want to enjoy all the good in the early times of your life, or you want to enjoy in this middle stage, or do you want to enjoy in the end? So we make different choices depending on our ability or knowledge or so to enjoy. Some of us say we want to enjoy it in the early stage while you are innocent, so you're not aware of many things. Some of us say in the middle stage I want to enjoy it. In the old stage somebody will take care of me. And some of us say, you know what, I don't mind the struggle throughout, but in the old age I must be able to do. So what happens in the process? You learn and gain a lot of experience, and in the old age you become aware of many things, and then you see the values of what you have done from the past, and you are able to do many great deeds in the old age also. So the body health also is very good, even in the old age, because although you pass through the struggle, you still have the ability and the sense, the understanding, and the courage and everything to do all that you can do. But it depends on the choice that we have made. So we enjoy the good at one time, but remember, everything is based on how you structure whatever you're doing. You have a chance to ward out karmas from your life, By the good things and the good association, good discussion, healthy discussion, you improve yourself, you improve your mind, and by others hearing it too, they also get improved. And that is all like a credit to yourself to absorb some of the negativity that is there. So when the mind starts to become more pure and purified, remember the cells in the body also go with a certain frequency in the thoughts that we entertain. And as these cells in the body start to go on with a different frequency, it develops into a difference in the aura of the individual, and the aura starts to expand and bring serenity and calmness to those who we are around.
So, Pandit, I have a question then. Mm-hmm. You were stating, which I know is correct, that you make the choice.
Yes.
Whether it's going to be this part of the age, this part of the age, or at the end of the age.
Yes.
But when is that actually done? Is that done the life prior to your new life? So that your life is predestined with God's agreement? And the maturity of that good deed will only come when it's supposed to mature, that you've decided.
Well, some of it that is in the minority amount comes while you're still in the body. You have opportunity because it changes certain effects. Remember, you have karmas that you're suffering, pains and
right,
so
that you have to go through.
Yes, you have to go through. And in the process of that, you're changing the atmosphere by the thoughts that you keep maintaining, the good thoughts and doing the good deeds and so on. And in the process, when life quits from this body, there is where the decision, that is the decision time comes, that after the ceremonies are performed, like the year ceremony, and as it is said, sometimes it is in 12 days you have that decision making, because some people get liberated in 12 days, some get in 6 weeks, 6 months, or at the end of the year, depending on the ceremonies that are performed. That's why it says Sapinda can be done in the 12th day, it can be done in 6 weeks, in 6 months, or in the time of 1 year. But remember, it also says before Sapinda ceremony is done, the 48th Shraddha has to be completed before you can do Sapinda, not before the 48th you do Sapinda.
Right.
Yes.
So, how do you determine when it should exactly be done? Is it by the person's actions when they were alive? But we don't know all their actions.
Yes.
We only know what we see of an individual.
Yes.
So, is there specific, I know you said there's specific times it should be done.
Yes.
But you said some could get it within 12 days.
Yes.
So then you wouldn't do it way out here.
No.
You would do it within the 12 days.
Yes.
But what if not?
Well, the thing is this, that there are certain things which are called sanskars. Sanskars are sacraments and so on, which are supposed to be done in appropriate amount of time, in specific time. Like a baby is to be born in a family. Somebody has died in that family. You have to do the naming ceremony. If you are doing the sanskar, you are supposed to do what is called the naming ceremony. In order to do the naming ceremony of that person, you are supposed to finish up the sanskar which are to be done for the individual who are first. Then you completely, so that is an opportunity where that person gets liberated faster than the year because of a new member coming in the family. Somebody is getting married. You must do all the ceremonies, do what is called Namkaranam, the Nanimukh Shraddha, which is for all the ancestors to be pleased. So you bring that person up to that level, and then you do the wedding ceremony. You liberate that person faster than the year. And these are some of the these are some of the truths that are there in the scriptures, which are not really coming out to people, and it is hidden.
Why?
And even some of the people who are supposed to do it and who are supposed to educate themselves on it, they never educate themselves on it, and they go on arguing foolishly without knowing that there are truths about it here, and these are the facts on it, and they never look for the facts.
Well, again, It's just like prayers. The questions that's normally asked, how many days can I really fast before the prayers? They don't want to fast for the full appropriate time. So they're wanting to hear from somebody, okay, you can fast, you don't have to fast till 2 days prior, right? What you're saying here is the same thing. It's what you're putting into it.
Yes.
Is what they're going to get out of it.
Yes.
And I think that's very important for people to understand. You know, now, when we start talking about last rites, what about a baby? What about a baby if they die within 2 days? Mm-hmm. Like the other day.
Yes.
Now they're up to 11 babies, I think.
Yes, something like that, yes.
Right? Now in Christian and other beliefs, there are rites.
Okay.
But in Hinduism, it's vague. Correct?
Yeah, there are some things that are done and some
Correct.
things, yes.
And we went over this in the past.
Yes.
But why is it so vague? Is it because the soul has just reached? It hasn't been impure by the earth? Why is it that the rituals are not as much as the
Because they are looked upon as special souls that came and only had to exist for a certain amount of time. Like in the time when Ganga, she had mothered the Vasudevtas, and Bhisham Pitama was the only one that was left, because Ganga had to become the mother of the 8 Vasudevtas, because they approached her and said, we have done a wrong in the celestial world and we need somebody to become our mother. So she said, don't worry, I'll become your mother, but tell me who will be your father. He said, well, the only person who is righteous enough to become our father is the king by the name of Santanu. He has lived a very religious life and everything, but Ma, you have to attract his mind, because we do not know anything about doing this part of it. We can only beg you and seek. We have made errors by taking the cow from the ashram of the rishi and putting it somewhere else. And the one of the rishi became angry and gave us shrap. So we got a curse in our life, and we have to face this. So we have to come to the world. We don't want to stay long. We want to go back quickly. So our life is already whole, and we have to go through this procedure. So we want to come and go quickly. So those are like the special deities that come like that, and sometimes the Ma or the mother who faces with that comes like Ganga, and she has to go through this as a sacrifice, because the sacrifice that a mother will make for any child is so special that nobody else could be able to equate that. And she made this sacrifice for the Vasudevtas, and the only one that remained was Bhisham Pitama, because one of them had to be there who did the act of actually carrying physically the cow and putting it away from the ashram of the rishi. So he faced with that, and the rituals for a baby that is being born, and just for 2-3 days of stillborn, is so minimum that you do
it's
just
a simple
offering.
Which we went through in the past.
Yes.
But again, it's really not spoken about. So there's a lot, what if, ands, or buts. But Omkar, we only have a few minutes. Do you have any comments on what we've talked about today? I know today we've done most of the talking, and I'm sorry for that.
That's okay. It was just one thing that I had from since the previous episode, which was what are the actual steps? Because I know the discussion was last rites.
Yes.
So what are the actual things that need to happen when you hear that a person has died? And let's say I am the one who has to make arrangements. What is necessary? Because the reason I ask is, like, I have some things that are being done these days. Like, for example, the people have 30 nights of satsang. I heard one Pandit say one time you're not supposed to have satsang because you make noise and it's disturbing to the soul. So one Pandit, I heard them say it. So you have a reading. You read from the Garu Puran, but you don't have satsang. And I believe the same Pandit had said, well, you don't do arati because you're not supposed to do arati, light diyas and stuff like that. So I don't know. I have heard
Lighting of
different
diya
people.
becomes an important thing because you have to light diya. You must have a light in the place where. So
For the soul.
no light doesn't really apply.
Okay. So then what are the steps? The simple question. Yeah.
No, the word satsang. Sat means truth. Sang means company. So truthful company is what we are talking about.
Right.
That is, if you say not to have that, then you are saying don't have any discussion with truthful company.
Okay.
And knowledge is that which lifts a person. It doesn't put you in trouble.
Right.
And you don't take knowledge to go and fight. You take knowledge to lift yourself, make you a better person, a better individual. So we don't go to argue with knowledge. You take it, you might have discussion, you may agree, you're free to disagree too, but you put the facts together to make it possible. Now, what is to be done? Satsang is according to the Garuda Puran, says you do the satsang, but the sound of certain type of vibration is not actually applicable for the departed. Therefore, the certain drummings are not important, are not recommended.
Okay.
So the playing of drums and so on.
Because that'll draw
Yes.
back
So
the vibrations.
you
Yeah.
eliminate that from the satsang. You can have your singing, you can have your chanting, you can have your reading. Those are educational things. It's important. Light is also important. So in the book it is written to have the light there.
Okay.
Now, I had spoken to my guru, and my guru said, if you consider the body as just the elements there, and you don't think that in every matter there is some form, aspect of God, then you dispose of it just so. Don't worry to go do arati and things. But if you think that there is also some matter inside there that is matter and that has some aspect of God in it, and it is related, it brings a memory, a good thought to you, and you picture the goodness of it, then honor it.
But I was also taught we may not see all the good and bad.
No.
So always make a light. Always look for good in something.
As you're on that topic, aratiing of the deceased.
If you think of the deceased, when you're doing Shraddha, they do arati.
Right.
Right? So, if it is for deceased, now remember when you're giving the Shraddha, you are giving it in favor of the deceased. And puja has arati in it.
Right.
Now, if, as I said, he pointed out to me, he said, if that is the matter, and that is just it and nothing else, and you don't consider it as your departed family, then don't do it. Give it up just so. You consider as your part of your family, that is remains of your family, you're disposing it, you're honoring it before you give to Agni Devata, then honor it.
I got one more question.
Yeah.
It's not from me, but it was given to me from last year's show.
Yeah.
They're saying if you have a family death, that we aren't supposed to be doing puja
Yes.
for 1 year. Or up to 1 year.
Yeah, okay.
Some say 6 months to a year. But if you're a religious leader, a pundit, and your father or mother dies, God forbid people, what time frame is there before you should be able to do it for the people?
Actually, I am a pundit too. When my father died, she was the first one that I had to do the rites for that died. We wait until we finish do what is called the Bhandara or the 12-day ceremony.
Right.
And in the 12th day, we completed everything straight up. That's a 48 Shraddha up to the Sapinda ceremony. Complete.
And then you're clear.
And then we play.
That's what was told to me by my guru.
Yes.
But there's some, just like what you were saying, some will say this, some will say that.
Yes.
But we're out of time, everybody. I wish we could keep going because this is very educational for everybody. But Pandit, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a blessing for me to be able to
hopefully
have satsang on the air.
Hopefully soon we'll
with all
have
the people.
some other shows with different topics. I'd like to do the 4 stages of life with you.
Okay, no problem.
I would love to do that. But Omkar, oh gosh, it's always a pleasure being with you. And all of you, everybody watching and viewing, I hope you took home something. I hope you learned something during these programs because it's very important. But everybody, you have a great week and a safe week. Sitaram.
Sitaram.
We extend to you an invitation to join Master Eric and Omkar for the weekly program Between God and Us every Sunday evening from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. exclusively on Sankhya Television. Between God and Us. Knowledge to free your soul.